Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, let's just dive right in, because we really need to talk about the absolute disrespect the internet has been throwing at one of evolution's wildest creations. If you spend any time on social media, you've probably seen a certain small, furry animal getting relentlessly mocked recently. People act like it's just this completely forgettable creature, but I'm here to tell you that what you're actually looking at is a biological masterpiece. You know what I'm talking about, right? The internet decided to absolutely roast this animal as some sort of furry template. They've called it a beta test, nature's Untitled project, a login reward, and literally gave it the generic name John Mammal. People are joking that we didn't even officially discover this thing until someone walked into a pet store and asked for a default mammal. I mean, they are slandering the life out of this guy. So, the crucial question we are answering today is the Hyrax really just a template? Well, I am stepping in as your defense attorney today because this miscellaneous little tater tot has actually been evolving for 50 million years and deserves some serious respect. It was even name-dropped in ancient historical texts. They definitely didn't survive 50 million years just to be called an imitation bunny. Section 1, the Afrotheria family reunion. So picture this. Tens of millions of years ago, Africa separated from the supercontinent of Gondwana. It essentially became this massive, isolated island. And after the dinosaurs were wiped out, the mammals left behind on this giant African island went straight to work filling every open ecological vacancy. It's a process called adaptive radiation. Now look at this. This so-called imitation bunny is actually cast in the Panongulata group, which makes it direct cousins with elephants and manatees. Yeah, you heard that right. Just look at the shared features across the board. They all have toenails instead of true claws, which act almost like tiny hooves. And those teeth? Just like a massive elephant, the Hyrax has tusks. Theirs are just modified incisors used for fighting and showing off. And hey, it doesn't even stop at tusks and toes. They share some, well, awkward anatomical similarities with elephants too, like keeping their reproductive hardware tucked away completely internally. Nature gave them the old internal coin purse, which is just another fascinating trait linking this tiny furry potato directly to the largest land mammal on Earth. And there isn't just one of these guys. There's incredible diversity here. There are actually 6 different types of Hyraxes spread across 3 genuses. Basically, nature hit copy-paste on this masterpiece a few times. You've got the rock Hyrax, which is the most common one you'll see on your feed. Then there's the bush Hyrax and 4 types of tree Hyraxes. Oh, and by the way, the southern tree Hyrax literally bounces on the ground to travel when it gets excited, which is just amazing. But look right down there at the bottom of the list. The Benin tree Hyrax. Now, you'd think we documented all of these guys decades ago, right? So how do you discover a completely new species of mammal in the year 2021? Well, the Benin tree Hyrax was fully identified by total accident, and the story is just wild. Get this. Scientists were actually out in the field looking for a totally different animal, bush babies. But while they were searching, they kept hearing these terrifying, distinctive, blood-curdling barking screams in the middle of the night. After isolating and studying these sounds, they finally realized that this supposed template animal had an entirely undocumented rogue variant out there. They literally had skulls of it in their possession for years, but just assumed they were all the same species until the screams proved otherwise. Section 2, Biology of a Placeholder. Now, if you think these little guys look boring or generic on the outside, oh man, their internal biology is basically a Frankenstein mashup of stolen parts. They stole so many different animals' flows that if it were a Pokemon, it would literally be arrested for plagiarism. This perfectly illustrates that mashup. When it comes to their mammal hardware, they somehow ended up with the jaw structure of a tiny rhinoceros, and they chew from side to side to grind up food exactly like a ruminant giraffe. But then look over at their reptile software. They are absolute trash at regulating their own body heat. I mean, they operate so poorly that they are practically cold-blooded, relying almost entirely on the sun for energy. And their daily schedule? It perfectly captures this chaos. This sentient 11:59 p.m. project submission spends 95% of its entire life either resting or aggressively charging idly in the sun. Nature essentially forgot to include a functional internal heater, so they're basically solar-powered. They even cuddle together using this sort of Tetris method, just to stay warm enough to survive. But wait, because they do actually have a superpower. Down by their toes, they have these rubbery soles with a concave surface that act like literal suction cups. It is an absolute cheat code for gripping rocks. It lets them go climb completely vertical surfaces with absolute ease. Unfortunately, though, this incredible biological adaptation has led to a very modern problem. Section 3. Car engine colonizers. You see, those exact suction cup climbing skills mean they have adapted to modern urban chaos by aggressively colonizing the undersides of vehicles, particularly in South Africa. The underside of a chassis is apparently an absolute dream home for a crevice merchant like the Hyrax. People have literally accidentally Ubered these animals all across the country without even knowing. So if you come back from vacation and find 4 of these guys spelunking in your car engine, follow these critical survival steps immediately. Step 1. Do not attempt to remove it yourself. Seriously, don't. Step 2. Bait the Hyrax out with something like peanut butter. Step 3. Call your local SPCA. Why? Because a cornered, highly territorial Hyrax will absolutely show you what those elephant cousin tusks can do. They will mess you up. Bizarrely enough, while we absolutely need to be careful around them, chimpanzees seem to find them totally adorable. Think of it as a chimpanzee's travel-sized elephant. Researchers have actually documented chimps surrounding Hyraxes without harming them at all. In one case, a male chimp was seen treating a Hyrax like a doll, blowing on its hair and grooming it. And in another mind-blowing instance, a female chimp actually cradled a Hyrax for 15 hours straight, even taking it to bed with her in her nest. Section 4. Complex syntax and society. Now, despite that glowing chimp endorsement, you definitely wouldn't want one of these as a pet. Dropping a Hyrax into a new territory or a human home is like putting a prison green light on it, all because of their insanely complex social gangs. These guys live in huge groups of up to 80 members, guarded by a territorial top male who acts as a sentry. But they actually maintain peace through a brilliantly calculated egalitarian network based on the friend of my friend is my friend rule. They form specific social trios to maintain group balance. The Hyrax was actually the very first non-human animal ever observed using this exact kind of structural social balance. And this right here brilliantly illustrates their true intellect. Instead of physically fighting and tearing each other apart with those lethal tusks, the males engage in solo vocal diss tracks. Seriously, it's true vocal syntax. They aren't just making random noises. They sing with deliberate sequence and structure, almost like lyrics. They even have regional dialects. Males will pump up their audible output when stranger Hyraxes are around, and the ones that sing with the best rhythm actually go on to father the most offspring. Section 5. The 70,000-year poop legacy. Let's shift gears to how this miscellaneous mammal literally leaves an indelible mark on human history through his extremely weird bathroom habits. 70,000. That's a huge number. See, Hyraxes pee and poop in the exact same communal spot for generations. These designated spots are called middens. Over time, they literally graffiti entire cliffsides with their calcium carbonate pee. And because they use the exact same bathroom spot over and over and over, these towering cliffside latrines act as perfect biological time capsules. Some of these latrines have been actively stockpiled for 70,000 years. Over millennia, this ancient, crystallized excrement hardens into a substance called hyraxium, which actually looks a bit like amber. Scientists harvest this stuff to study ancient climates because it perfectly preserves the environmental timeline. And humans, well, we have bizarrely used hyraxium for everything from traditional medicine treatments for epilepsy all the way to a foundational ingredient in luxury, high-end perfumes. Yes, someone out there right now is smelling great thanks to 70,000-year-old Hyrax bathroom deposits. And just as a final note for the defense here, this entire weird, singing, sun-powered, engine-colonizing package is absolutely vital ecologically. The Hyrax is the dietary cornerstone keeping the severely endangered Arabian leopard alive today. Without the Hyrax, one of the world's most beautiful and threatened big cats might completely disappear forever. So, wrapping this all up, considering the elephant kinship, the incredible fact that they sing diss tracks with actual linguistic syntax, their suction cup rock climbing skills, and the 70,000-year-old perfume legacy they leave behind, I have to ask you, do you still think this absolute legend is just nature's beta test? Or is the internet's John mammal actually one of the most successful, complex survivors on the planet? I'd say the next time you see one on your feed, you might just want to show some respect.